Hi everyone, it's Desiree and I am here with Rubber Stamp Tapestry and we are going to use another one of their peg stamp sets called Watercolor Garden. This is a great peg set to create your own pattern paper, and that is what I love about the peg stamps. That's really what I use them primarily for, to create those backgrounds, to create the backdrops. When it comes to our pattern paper, maybe, you don't want to buy your pattern paper. These allow you to create your own. Remember, they have a registry so that you know how it'll stamp onto your cardstock, so you know the direction that they will go. So I've pulled out some of my Desiree K inks, and I'm using Fresh Asparagus, Jelly Bean Green, Wild Wisteria, Peach Bellini, Red Hot, Ocean Mist, and Powder Blue. And we're also going to pull in some colored pencils. So let's start off right off the bat with our largest image. And that's what I like to do as well. I learned this from Lindsay, the Frugal Crafter. When it comes to your peg stamp sets, stamp with your largest image first and then work your way down to the smaller peg stamps as you continue to stamp. So for the large floral image, I'm using 4 colors and creating clusters across my piece of cardstock. Now, this cardstock has been cut to 4 by 5 1/4, and it'll have a mat that'll measure 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 so that it sits nicely on our standard A2 size card base. Remember, the standard A2 size card base is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and this will be a side folding card. So now that I have the larger images stamped, I'm now going to come in with the smaller cluster of flowers, and I'm just going to fill those in. Now, remember, I like odd numbers. To me, that's appealing to my eye. So even though I have 4 of the larger, I'm really adding 3 of the smaller as best as I can to get that odd number for each of my clusters. And then I'm going to come in with the smaller greenery that's going to sit in the background in the lighter shade, and then I'll come in with the darker shade with the larger ivy that's going to come across that. So as I'm filling this in, I'm also looking at, now you can keep it the way that it is now, because your stamps, depending upon your ink, they'll either level out or they'll blend on top of each other. Again, I am not a perfect stamper. Never will be. Nope. And these are very forgiving for that. So you can see I have this filling in. Now I'm focusing more on the top. I know I've got that white space down on the bottom left-hand corner, but that's okay because you'll see with the die that I'm going to use from Birch Press, it's going to cover that. Simple colored pencil coloring here. You could also use watercolors if you want. It'll move the ink below if they are water reactive, but I'm just coming in with scribbles. I'm using a shade darker in the color pencil, and the color pencils that I'm using are my Prismacolors, but you can use any color pencil that you have. Yes, even those Crayolas. They are wonderful. And I'm just coming in with those darker colors along the center of the flower to give it a depth, to give it some shadows when it comes to each of the flowers coming along. When it comes to the leaves, I'm only going to focus on the darker vine, and I'm going to fill in that white spot there when it comes to the darkest of my green. And now I'm actually just going to color over that white spot. For the smaller ones, I'm literally just going around the circle just to put in a little bit of color. Again, not looking for it to be perfect. Doesn't have to be perfect shading. It's just giving that hint of color into these to make them dimensional. So once I come in with that, excuse me, I'm going to come in now with the darker aqua. Excuse me. And again, you can see more so in this one how that just really pops that flower out. Again, it's just simple lines. It's not even blending this color out. It's just adding some scribbles. It's like some of those stamps that we have where they've got some etching into the design to help provide the shading. That's kind of what I'm doing here. Just adding those sharp lines towards the bottom, not extending them to the edge, because letting that color of the ink be the highlight. Doesn't always have to be white or an extremely pale color, but just by adding these darker shadows, these flowers are now coming to life just a little bit more than what they were originally. Looking to change that color for that blue, I needed to come in with an indigo. The color I chose just had a little bit too much purple, but again, if I would have stuck with it, it would have been fine when it comes to adding in those colors. But again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Have fun with it. If you like to scribble, this is perfect for you. So you can see now as I come in with the green, I'm just covering up that white mark that's cut out of the stamp. And again, that's where I'm putting my dark shade. And it's just adding a little bit of depth to those leaves so that they themselves can come off of this paper as well, just to add that difference. So again, very simple to create your own background using your inks and your colored pencils. I used the Birch Press Hello die to create that bottom. I used a gray to allow those colors to come up and to be even more brighter than what they already look. I die cut the Hello 3 times out of white cardstock just to give that some dimension as well, and added a few gems to the center of the larger flowers. I also used my liquid pearls for the smaller flowers and just put a dot within those, again, just to give them a different level of shimmer. So I do hope you enjoyed this project. I hope you find something in your stash that you can use this same technique. But as always, all the products that I used will be listed down below in the video description if you wanted to check them out. And by all means, if you have any questions, make sure you leave those down below as well, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Enjoy your day, smile, laugh. We will continue through our journey and make it through. But most of all, enjoy the process. No stress. Enjoy your creativity because you are creating art. So always remember, be creative. Till next time, guys. Take care.